Yeah, very good evening, everyone. Yeah, thanks for joining in. So, in the next 1 hour, what are we going to expect? So, the whole subject is about how do we bridge the gap between what we're trying to achieve, in terms of business needs, and how are we trying to bridge this gap between our health requirements. So, that is what we are trying to address. And this is very important for us because in a day-to-day scenario, it's going to play a big role in how do we manage ourselves and our businesses as well. So, today I'm talking as a doctor, yes, but I also come with an experience of being an entrepreneur. I'm an entrepreneur rather. So it also gives me that whole experience, which I also carry as being a doctor and being an entrepreneur as well. And this is what I also intend to share with all of you. So initially, maybe for the first 30, 40 minutes, I'm going to take you through a presentation. And then we will have, the questions open. And at that point of time, we can have more interaction and look forward to seeing all that, which is going to make this session more interesting. So I will also just start with sharing my slides, and this will help us navigate through this whole session. So very important for us to understand that today it's important for us to align the strategy of how we kind of strategize health for ourselves, and also how we can strategize business for ourselves. So that's where the topic is all about. And it has to become more and more interesting as we navigate across this particular title of today, bridging the gap between so bridging the gap, aligning the business requirements, strategies with our healthcare needs. That is what we're going to explore more on today. And when we go around it, it's important for us to start with this whole factor of what this entrepreneurship is all about. See, it can start as young as we can start it with, and that's where it comes from, the knowledge, the resource, and a lot more. So there is, a lot of potential, which we talk as a mammoth potential, which is extremely, essential for us to navigate this whole process. And in this whole journey, there is a lot of responsibility. We need to be highly responsive. There is big time rigor, a lot of energy, and many times we feel that people cannot just match my energy. This is where that whole journey begins. Especially when I say young entrepreneurs, it means people who have just started their journey. Not necessarily they have to be young by age. Also, as entrepreneurship continues or as business strategy continues, you might always work for another organization, but you have the entrepreneurship skill in you. That's what is very, very important. And we don't describe an entrepreneur here saying that he or she has to run her own business and has to be the business owner herself. The skill set is what we're trying to talk about. The best way to also utilize this is by navigating all these responsive behavior which we need to showcase. So Swami Vivekananda has said that you have to take up one idea at a time, make that whole idea your life, think about it, and ensure that it basically paves way for all your successes, because it has to just be that particular idea you're working on. Now that idea can be anything. You need to really have a lot of self-confidence, a lot of dedication, big purpose in life to achieve what definitely you plan to. And essentially this is so very important, and this is going to help us navigate through what we want. Now when we start looking a little more on this, it's important for us to know why this kind of a self motivation is so very essential, right? And when we talk about this, we say that what is the kind of direction we give ourselves? How can we control ourselves? What is the kind of responsibility we need to own up? So many important things and so many factors are going to play a role in this whole journey of entrepreneurship, and that's highly essential. And it's important for us to talk about all this. Why do I say self? Self direction, self control, self discipline, and self responsibility. So many selves. So what is important here is how this is going to really enhance oneself. So one of the primary factors, and one of the very well known entrepreneur there on screen, as you see, he used to talk a lot about perseverance. When we say this, it's very, very important because we need to be highly patient and there is extreme will which is required. And as we understand that running successful businesses is like a marathon. Is it a half marathon or a full marathon? It's always a full marathon. They're definitely not athletics that you just sprint and move away, and there is no finish line. I cannot stop today, right? I have to run until my life exists because I am living up with some expectation which I have created for myself. That's how we need to look at it. And it's important that, we kind of ensure that this is the process we follow. Now, when we are talking about all these aspects, it's very important for us to also know how ideas get generated in business. And when we talk about anybody as an individual, now, as I already said, the entrepreneurship is what we are trying to talk about. And when you are of that mindset, you're always trying to innovate, you're always trying to think, but you want to be very realistic because you can't go away from reality, and you cannot think something which is probably far away, which you are not able to even see. But you want to also know that your whole path, the whole roadmap, the whole journey you have set for yourself as a person to grow, for also the business to grow, is very, very intact. And this plan is in anticipation for something else. So we also have to anticipate very rightly, and that's going to play a very crucial role in how we are going to help ourselves. So therefore, what happens is in this whole journey, we'll have to be very analytical. We should know how to work, how to get over our weaknesses. We cannot be stressed. We cannot be afraid. We cannot run away. So many things like this. So when we are trying to understand that, okay, these are some skills which are needed for us to innovate, for us to ideate, very, very important for us to also observe ourselves. So that's why I'm trying to say that we should know what is our potential, how can we work forward, how can we make things better for ourselves, and that is going to actually improvise on what we want to do. So let us keep the goals very realistic, very positive, but let us also work towards what we want to do. Now, as business strategies require, you have to be a risk taker. There's no running away from risk taking. What did Jeff Bezos say? He says that I just want to keep going. I don't want to regret to what I did when I'm 80. I knew that if I failed, I would not regret that as well. I knew that one thing I might regret is not ever having tried. And I knew that would haunt me every day. So very, very positive statement and very, very powerful statement indeed. And why is this so important? Because the journey is like this, you are in a very senior executive role, you are running a business, you're a person who is extremely valued in your organization. You need to ensure that this statement is true for you as well. I'm sure all of you would agree to that also. So here we have to move very steadily. We have to look at our personal requirements. We'll have to look at the organizational requirements. We have to ensure that we are a trusted employee or a trusted business owner, and we have to meet crucial deadlines, right? There is a lot of interest which is generated in ourselves when we have this kind of a roadmap for ourselves. Because what is important is how do we achieve despite the hurdles. Now, the hurdles can be in different forms. Now, what is the hurdle I am trying to address today going forward is the hurdle of health. You have to donate a lot of personal time when you want to say that I knew that a particular thought of mine would haunt me or should not haunt me every day. And I want to ensure that this happens when I'm 80. I want to feel so happy for what I did. Yes, it was a struggle. I don't say that it was an easy journey and a journey full of, on the bed of roses. It can never be so. And we have to ensure that for this kind of a journey, it's important that our health is in sync, into what we want to also achieve. Well, health also is going to ensure that we achieve well. So that's why a very common statement goes by, right? Saying health is well. Now, why is this supposed to be so glorious, so glamorous, especially entrepreneurship is what we talk about. We said, just to summarize, that it's a very passion driven process and it is a very independent process. Sometimes the business owner feels very lonely. Yes, he's got partners, yet he has to deliver what he has to do. Roles and responsibilities is what I'm trying to talk about, and the whole thought process itself, right? So probably when somebody has started this journey, they come with so much of energy. Okay, we are four of us, and we know we'll have to achieve this much. This is our target for the year. Yes, you achieve, you're very happy, you want to achieve more. Now there is a rift in between the partners, probably. Now, how much of stress that gives to the other three if one of them, especially say, let's consider one stakeholder not so very gelling with the others. Likewise, there are many more problems. If you are in an organization, a very senior leadership level person, then you know what all you need to take up. The responsibility which you take up is going to play a big, big role, and you have to definitely kind of burn the midnight lamp to get things going. Now you have some consignment going on, say tomorrow, and you have to ensure that that reaches on time. There's so many things to it, and if you have some major audits, you are in that level, then you really have to take so much of care. And this is where we have to see that we do the best. Now I just invite you all to engage yourselves here. Let me initiate a poll for all of you, and please do answer here. Just trying to check where I can see it. Yes. So let's see what your answers are. So the question is, please go ahead. 21 of you attending the session now. What do you feel about entrepreneurship? Hard journey to crack, journey with diverse emotions, transformative experience, struggle, yet hoping up, not very clear. Take few seconds and please answer this question. Then I will also share the result of the poll. Yes. So what I can see here, I think most of you are still trying to check on change. Yeah, I think done. All right, that's great. So what I can see is at the end of the poll, the best answer here is transformative experience. Now, if it's a transformative experience, then how do you really, handle this? Not able to stop sharing this. I think you can all still see. So when we look at this, right, so it's important that we see the roadblocks and these challenges, because you all say that it's a transformative journey. So, indeed, the roadblocks are when we specifically look at how we are going to handle our work-life balance, the productivity, career over family, or your me time. Very important to understand these aspects, and this is where we ensure that we have to take care of ourselves, and we need this whole understanding of how we can maintain this work-life balance. How can we work on our productivity? How can we ensure that family and career both have equal time given? Sometimes career over family is what we intend to do. And yes, of course, that is very phasic. We also have to ensure that this thing is very, very important, and it is based on the individual. And last but not the least, very important for everyone to understand how you can spend this me time. Now, when we say what are the health requirements, yes, keeping the whole community in mind, the requirements of the men and the requirements of the women, we have to understand that there is the workplace stress which plays a role, the ergonomic related health issues which play a role, and reproductive health issues also. And specifically when we look at women, then we see that menopause or perimenopause related problems, menstruation related problems are also going to sneak in the management of their health issues. How do we accommodate this major factor called stress? So when we talk about different issues, we say that there are these factors which play a role. Stress is one of the common component which is always there, in this mid path. Now we say stress due to what? Oh, my health is not good. Or maybe I have extra work which I need to complete. I have to probably repay some debts. I'll have to do something else. I am so stressed. So this is where we'll have to see how can we navigate through these processes, because stress is always there. Stress can be eustress, which is positive stress. Stress is also a distress. Now, what affects the body? Eustress or distress? What affects is the distress. Eustress is needed. Now, how do we gear up? Now, tomorrow I need to come back to work at 9 a.m. I go sleep today at probably 10 or 10:30 p.m. How do I gear up? Now, that is something which our body needs to respond to, right? React to. And now that is not a stress. That is something which I need to adapt to. Wake up in the morning, do my chores, finish few things, come back. We cannot call all that a stress. Then I think life itself is going to become a big stress. Therefore, just have a very clear demarcation on what is the positive stress we are talking about and what is the negative stress we are talking about. And this is the negative stress which is going to affect the health. And this is where we'll have to also understand what all of you feel. Maybe it's good for us to also take this poll and understand how we can answer this question. So the question is more to say, what is that you feel when you feel stressed? So I request Durgaram there, my colleague, to probably share the poll options. Or I think I can see that now. So let's take this poll, an interesting one as well. Yes. So do you face any of the mentioned problems? Sleeplessness, you feel mentally foggy, you probably cannot sustain, you feel that you don't have good stamina, can't maintain work efficiency, feel very tired, eye strain, any kind of physical strain. Please go ahead. 15-20 seconds and let's see what answers we get. Sleeplessness is going up, can't maintain efficiency, work efficiency is there. feels tired regularly, so just there neck to neck. Some more answers expected. I think it'll make things more interesting. Okay. Yeah, I think you can launch the results also. What I see is sleeplessness is on the top. Next comes can't maintain work efficiency. And next comes feels tired regularly. Okay. So feeling mentally foggy, can't sustain, eye strain. I don't see anybody voting them as well. So, kindly stop the screen poll, please. So, when we look at sleeplessness, why are we not able to sleep? Let's also understand things there. Now, when we look at why can't we sleep, there is an organ called brain, right? And it's very important that we know how brain works. The major components of stress, which actually enable this whole neurological change, there are a lot of things, environmental factors, major life events, and a lot more like this. Trauma, a lot of our physiological, psychological, behavioral responses which are going to help this whole neurological breakdown, which can happen at times when you're highly stressed. So there is something called allostasis, and allostasis is a kind of adaptation which happens in the body. And this is where when we cross what we call an allostatic load, then your body gives up. When it gives up, now, let me give you a very simple example. You're not able to sleep now for maybe 3 days. You feel that, okay, on the fourth day, I can sleep. But fourth day also, you feel I've slept only for 4 hours. And now this continues for another 1 week. Now, what happens to your body? Many of you have said sleeplessness, so that's why I have taken this, example. What happens? You start feeling fatigued, okay, and then slowly, okay, you go to a doctor, or you might not go as well. If you don't go, you try and take your own decision saying, okay, let me go for a walk, let me do yoga, let me do something XYZ. Let me see there's a change. And still, you may not find great change. You may not know what is triggering that sleeplessness in you. And that is where you also go wrong. If you leave this unattended for a while, then your body's mechanism, starts becoming negative. At that point of time, you start feeling fatigue. Maybe you feel that you're getting either constipated, or you're getting more loose motions. If you walk a little, maybe your heart is pounding. So these are some of the changes which can happen. So likewise, your overall energy starts reducing. If this goes on, maybe around 3 months, intermittently over 60-70% you're not slept, then is there a surprise if you go to a doctor and the doctor says that your BP is more? You cannot feel surprised, because with this history of sleeplessness, there is a 100% chance that your BP can get elevated, or BP can increase. So this is how a problem can start. So why are we saying you need to manage stress in the right way? Is to prevent, first of all, health problems which are going to play a great role in ensuring that you're not able to be very efficient. Therefore, these are the crucial factors which you have to keep in mind. Your diet, which comes first, your physical activity, which is very, very important, the crux of you being healthy. What is this? Cheers in the night. How often do you want to do this? How often do you want to probably, get into a habit of probably consuming alcohol? If the history I gave you is added on with alcohol, then it's icing on the cake. So it's going to make things more worse for you. So you have to understand these factors very carefully. Same is with smoking and sleep. All of you spoke about sleep. So you very clearly understand now how sleep as a factor is going to play a big, big role in you staying healthy. So these are generalized factors which I have just brought in. How are we going to approach? What are the simple tips I'm going to share in probably in the next 10 minutes? 5 minutes, which is going to enable all of us in this group to help ourselves. So, bringing in the Oriental approaches, because we from Vivekananda Health Global work in this field of Ayurveda, yoga, and naturopathy. And we definitely understand how these systems of healing can play a big role in preventing health problems and can also help in managing health problems. But today we are talking about how you can bridge the gap between your health problems and your efficiency at work. If you have a health problem, how do you handle it? If you don't have a health problem, how do you prevent it? Both of them are very, very essential. I'll just give you a very good example here. I had a patient who has a startup, okay, and he is a big name in the industry as well. Now the person comes with a sudden renal problem. Now, what is this renal problem? How did it happen? Because of his lifestyle, a weekend party, no control on the diet. Yes, it's not that money is spoiling somebody. It's just that you are not exposed to these factors and you don't understand how they can create repercussions onto yourself. Now, he wants to do something, but he's unable to do because his health is not allowing him to. He needs to spend more time taking care of his health rather than time to take care of building wealth. That is what which he wanted to do. Likewise, we see so many cases at the clinic where we feel, oh, what if you would have taken care? Why did you neglect your health at the cost of your work? No, you have to do that sometime. I agree. Now, all of us know when we were all young, examination time, whether you're doing your master's or your PhD or your undergraduation examination time, everybody has to wake up, put that extra effort, do more studies, etc. But you can't keep doing that 365 days a week. Now, there are many people in the software industry who are working and taking calls till 1 a.m., and that becomes the norm of life. That for the next 6 months or 1 year, I am sleeping at 2 a.m. And I am sleeping and waking up after 8 hours because I want to clock that 8 hours thinking the body is ready and feels happy with 8 hours of sleep. But it is not so because body wants that 8 hours of sleep at the right time. So these are a few things which tell us that we should not do things without understanding. It's not at the cost of health. If you understand, it's easier for you to adapt. So one more poll for you just to understand what is this audience here doing as a physical activity on a daily basis. So Durgaram, just request you to host the poll, please. So the question says, what are the physical activities you follow on a daily basis? Yoga, walking, running, swimming, irregular yoga, walking, exercising twice a week. I've given you that option also. Or you don't do anything, please don't answer. So there is a tough competition in the poll between yoga and walking. Let's see who's going to win. Yes. Okay. On par, 10 out of 10. Okay, that's great. So we find 27% taken over by yoga and walking. Wonderful. Next, swimming, running, jogging, irregular yoga, I don't find anyone. And 18% is going for walking, exercising twice a week. Wonderful. Please share the results as well, and you can please stop the poll. You can stop sharing also. So this is what it says. So good to know that people are indulging into physical activity. And let's understand why physical activity is important. What kind of physical activity is important as your lifestyle? Aerobic exercise. When you say aerobic, what it means, that which produces oxygen when you do a particular activity. Yoga is an excellent aerobic activity. That is why it is highly recommended. It has an impact on your cardiovascular health. That means on the health of your heart, on the health of your lungs, and the health of your skeletal system. That means your muscles. How can you run? because you need oxygenation to your muscles, okay, when you start running. If you don't get adequate oxygen, you start feeling, oh, I cannot run anymore. My leg is going to pull and say, sit back there, I cannot run anymore. That is called an aerobic activity or an exercise. But you have to stay active. That's also very, very important. Amongst the exercises, we always recommend aerobic activity. But generally, you have to stay active and you have to work on your muscle strength also, because the muscles are surrounding your joints, and it's important for you to see that they're all staying active. Now, what can keep away pains at 40s or 50s is this, your physical activity, which you have done. So you can't start your physical activity at 50 and say that let me not get any pain at 60. May not be possible. So have some mobility, ensure that your circulation in your body is good. If you sit in a place for over 2 hours, 3 hours, now do you understand what happens? Why do people develop a neck pain? Why do people develop a back pain? Why has sciatica or the lumbar spondylitis become such a common problem? These are some of the reasons actually. Now, therefore, very important for you to understand the next topic, which is diet. Uh, I'm going to give you an Ayurvedic perspective to diet. How should you eat, and what you should probably not be doing. Generally, recommendation says that you eat warm food. Now, how do you warm? Do you warm it on a gas stove or you warm it in the microwave? Definitely, the second one is not recommended because easy going, most of them at home use microwaves. So there is harmful radiation effects on your food. Likewise, how should the food be? Can it be very dry? Can it should it be tasty? Yes, it cannot be very dry, but and it should be tasty. Tasty does not mean taste enhancers are used. A lot of spices are used. So you have to cook in an appropriate way, which most of us know, to keep the balanced quantity of oil, salt, and also taste in terms of using some basic spices. And Indian spices are highly recommended, especially something like turmeric or something like red chili powder. Also, though green chilies are not greatly recommended based on the nature or the constitution the person has. Likewise, quantity is important. What kind of quantity you eat? You eat in such a way that one-fourth of your stomach can stay empty. Then, when should you eat? Do you eat two meals? Do I do intermittent fasting? Do I do something else? You should eat as per the requirement of the body. If you're not hungry, please don't eat just because it is 1 p.m. What happens? It produces what we call as ama, as per Ayurveda, which is a metabolic waste. And metabolic waste is the reason for health problems as well. Do not eat against the temperature, against the climate of a particular place. Try to understand a little more on this. This itself is a very big topic. So we will not go into the details of it. When you eat, create a great environment for you and your family without too much of talk. Sit in a place, sit down on the floor, typical Indian style, and have all your concentration on your plate, with due regard to what you're eating. What is it made up of? Oh, today is something, brinjal vegetable as a vegetable. I'm totally not interested in that whole platter. So that should not be there in our minds, because all these actually spoil the way the body looks at it, because it's so important to talk about it. Likewise, few more tips to your daily practice, adding on to your lifestyle, your walk, jog, or yoga, as we just discussed, then diet. Next is meditation, because it can be a transformation. Like in the poll, we said entrepreneurship is a transformational journey. I think that was that's what the result said, that was the best marker. When that is so, what kind of transformation can you do to yourself? Why not adapt meditation? 10 minutes of meditation every day. Possible? Yes. 20 minutes of meditation every day. 20 minutes of meditation every day can really play a big role in ensuring that your focus is better, you're much more relaxed, and that relaxation response which your body needs is very, very important for you to do better, be more efficient. That is how we look at the benefits of meditation, because it can take you to deep rest. Now I'm highly stressed in the day or the last couple of days. Today I sit and meditate. How much of the bad effect of stress have I reduced on myself? Is what you need to think, because the real bliss is not about just going over a weekend party because you're highly stressed, but the real bliss is sit there and meditate. If you don't know how to meditate, understand from people who are there who can teach you. And meditation does not always mean that you have to sit at a place, close your eyes, and meditate. There are many more different techniques, like cyclic meditation, transcendental meditation, Om meditation, and so many of them which can be practiced. Here, I want to just make a point that we are trying to look at how we can redefine fitness. Especially when we look at fitness, it is overall, it is overall fitness at physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual level. This is very, very important, how you can evolve yourself. And therefore, you have to also have something, as a take home for positive health, where you understand that, okay, you're doing a couple of things, but most importantly, do not suppress your symptoms. Talk out if you're not feeling well. Do not think, oh, I know how to handle my headaches. I know how to handle my dizziness. I'll not take salt today. So maybe I'm feeling dizzy because my BP has shot up. Please don't do such things. Even emotionally, I feel like crying today. I feel like crying tomorrow and probably a week later. Is there something wrong with me? Do I need some help? Maybe take a help of a colleague, a friend, and then reach out to a health professional. Not a problem. But please attend to your symptoms, because the initial signs are very strong. Body shows these symptoms. And when we see patients at the clinics, I very clearly understand that they probably could have attended to this 6 months ago. At that point of time, we don't tell them too much, because we also don't want them to feel, very, very guilty. So they're already here for help. And food is such a big factor. Diet, I said ahara. We say annam brahmeti vyajanat. Upanishads say that it is like Brahma. It's a universal energy. And therefore, let food be your medicine. Take care of how you eat, what you eat is very, very important. And bring in a practice such as yoga into your daily lives. Make it a discipline. And the dosage of yoga here is also very important. And the last but very important point is let go. Many of us carry that attachment that, oh, that lady, she scolded me, or she kind of showed some hatred on me. She spoke so ill about me, and I carry that with me. So I think we should not do that, because when we are able to let go things, we carry less baggage on ourselves. When we carry less baggage, mentally we are free. Emotionally we feel very much at balance. Just leave it. Try to leave it. It's not easy, but it comes by practice. So that is something. The last point is something which everybody has to learn. And I will probably close out with this wonderful statement by Steve Jobs. He says, have the courage to follow your heart and intuition. They somehow know what you truly want to become. So, this is very much applicable to your health, very much applicable to your business, because each of them, if you have a health problem, it comes, with that initial sign I spoke about. Know the intuition of your body, understand the intuition for your business, because that can really help you balance your cells. So I think with this, I'll also stop this presentation, and we'll also open the forum for discussion. I would be very, very keen to hear from all of you, and answer your questions also. Look for your feedback also, and if you want to hear some more on health, what is that you want to hear can also be shared. So we have allowed people to talk now. You can unmute yourselves and probably talk. If there's anybody who wants to ask a question, please do raise your hand so that I can probably call out. You can see Vaibhav there trying to ask a question.
Yes, sorry, it's my son's name. I am Annapurna from Tumkur Kalpavriksha chapter.
Yes, madam. Please go ahead.
ಈ ಓವರ್ ಬಿಸಿಲಿಂದ ಸೆಕೆ ಆಗಿ ಕೈ ಕಾಲೆಲ್ಲ ಹೀಟ್ ಕ್ರಾಂಪ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಮಸಲ್ಸ್ ತುಂಬಾ ಪೇನ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಸೊ ಎನಿ ಸೊಲ್ಯೂಷನ್ ದಟ್ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಗಿವ್ ಅಸ್? ನಿಮಗೆ ಮಳೆ ಬಂದಿದೆ, ನಮ್ಗೆ ಇನ್ನ ಬಂದಿಲ್ಲ. ಅಂಡ್ ಓವರ್ ಸ್ವೆಟ್, ಲೈಕ್ ಮಲಗಿ ಇದ್ರೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಸ್ವೆಟ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಬಾಡಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಫ್ರೆಶ್ನೆಸ್ ಇಲ್ಲ.
Okay, fine. Understand. See, ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂದ್ರೆ weather related. So now Tukur as a city is got a very dry climate. One is please check on your water intake. At least minimum 1-3 ಲೀಟರ್ ನೀರ್ ಕುಡಿಬೇಕು. But sometimes ಬರೀ ನೀರ್ ಕುಡಿದ್ರೂ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. You'll have to use some, depending on your thing. We also get some natural grass which is called ushira, lemon grass. ಈ ತರದ ನೀರ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಕುಡಿಬಹುದು ನೀವು. Next, one more dhania water. It is actually very good, very refreshing for the season. You can soak 1 spoon of dhania in the night with a glass of water, drink it in the morning. ಇವಾಗ ಆಫೀಸ್ಗೆ ಹೋದ್ರೆ ನೀವು ಅದನ್ನೇ ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ 1 ಲೀಟರ್ ನೀರ್ಗೆ ಅರ್ಧ ಸ್ಪೂನ್ ಅಥವಾ 1 ಸ್ಪೂನ್ ಧನಿಯಾ ಹಾಕಿ ಕುದಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡು ಅದನ್ನ ಆರಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡು 1 ಬಾಟ್ಲಲ್ಲಿ ಹಾಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗಿ. These are something which can keep your body cool. If you have this inherent tendency that, okay, I'm not able to really tolerate and I have a lot of problems, you can also have this. Secondly, people have repeated UTI as well. Yes. I hope you got some answer.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Next, let's see. So do we have anybody else wanting to ask any question? Do you have any questions on this? Okay. So overall, this whole session was orienting towards helping people understand, navigate their health concerns. So if you as a leadership level executive or as a business owner, it's important for you to just navigate through this journey, help yourself understand what is right, what is wrong, and please remember the last part of it, that you have to look at the initial signs. You have to let go and get that mindset for the same.
Madam, just a question, ma'am. How we can contact you? You have some LinkedIn ID or something where we can connect with you? Please guide.
Yes. Those of you who wish to, please connect on LinkedIn. So LinkedIn ID can be shared in the chat box also, or you can just search Dr. Vasudha Sharma on LinkedIn. You can follow Vivekananda Health Global for more information on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter as well. And there are a lot of educational content which VHG comes up with, and this should help all of you to also help yourselves. And feel free to reach out if you have any more questions. And we just have probably another couple of minutes. If you have any more questions, I'll be happy to answer.
Madam, do you conduct any courses for the corporates or some software company? Because sitting is a lifestyle disease nowadays. We just want to know such programs are conducted by your institute.
Yeah, we specifically conduct programs for corporates. We also, enhance their requirements in terms of giving them specific solutions, based on personalization of their needs also. We concentrate on few aspects, and we talk about corporate, health solutions, like stress management. We spoke about, common health problems of spine. So there are some specific spine health solutions which are offered. And accordingly, we also specifically target women and offer some women health programs. These are some organizational level programs. There are many more, and as I said, they can be personalized also. We have conducted quite a few programs for corporates like Infosys and Biocon. These are recent programs. So I think since you asked for my LinkedIn, I'm just sharing that across.
Ma'am, good
Doctor,
evening. Mohan.
sorry, go ahead.
No, please go ahead. Go ahead.
Dr. Deepa here. Very general question about hair loss. I mean, for the past 1 year, I've been facing severe hair loss. I tried Bringraj. I mean, so many flavors of Bringraj from different companies, but I don't see much of change. What
Yeah.
could be the reason? Is it the hard water, or I don't understand why it's happening? But all of a sudden, I lost a lot of, and it used to be very long. It has become very short, and the density also has reduced.
Right. Okay. So, Deepa, see what happens is there are different factors which we should start evaluating on the age of the person. If you consider your age, I'm not very sure of your age, but assuming, suppose you're in late 30s or say let's consider you're in 35, 37, we'll have to consider the hormonal changes. We have to consider the environmental factors. We have to consider your diet and your lifestyle, especially physical activity. So all these factors can play a role. So even if you have used 10 different Bringaraj oils from 10 different companies, it may not totally be efficacious. The reason being we have not treated you from inside. When we start understanding, inside out theory, then it's going to be more feasible for you to get better. And we see very good responses because when we look at a combination of Ayurveda and yoga, when we also manage the stress the individual is undergoing, that itself can be one of the cause for hair fall. Along with that, we say what are the dietary deficiency or dietary enhancement which is needed, which can be added on. Then you map it with some medications which are given more as what we call as rasayana or rejuvenative medicines. And along with that, some external therapies for hair are also taken up. So this is the combination which can work when there is chronicity of maybe like a hair or a skin problem you're specifically trying to understand about. So it needs more personalized approach, and I think that's all I can say for today. Thank you. I think one more person in the audience wanted to probably ask a question.
Ma'am, Mohan here.
Okay.
Some of my students are attending your sessions, and previously also they have attended the sessions. They're very happy with your sessions, frankly. But just one I needed a small light on people who are eating outside because they can't get food from home for
And
the break. So they go to the canteen or they go out and eat, and there are a lot of changes in them. So can you just throw a small light on this if you can?
see now two things. Students sometimes maybe they might be in the college accommodation or they might be in a PG if they're not coming from home. So there are two categories: one coming from home who can manage their food, one not staying with parents or not staying with family who probably depend on outside food. Now, people at home, it's mandatory that at least they carry food because when they take outside food, either way, it's going to create a lot of repercussion on their health. I already, in between, I had mentioned there is a usage of taste enhancers, there's usage of oils which are not recommended. Like many times, because of bulk cooking and low pricing of food, they may not use an oil. They might use what we commonly know as dalda, right? That's highly problem creating for the system. So likewise, that's why they should try and refrain from eating outside very regularly to avoid a lot of issues, especially female can invite a lot of hormonal changes due to this. And those of them who are dependent on food from outside only, they don't have too much of choice. But in the given choice itself, it's very, very important for them to take care of the quality of food Okay, they may be eating a simple rice dal. Okay, the quality is good. How do they enhance? Addition of fruits, addition of dry fruits, addition of some raw vegetables, exercise, some physical activity, even if they're as young as a 21 or a 23-year-old needs that. Otherwise, they're just sitting at the college, coming out, studying, going back, just doing some time pass also. There's a lot of things. So all of them are going to play a very, very crucial role, and they have to understand that what they do at that age is also going to help them stay healthy at 33 or 43. We also spoke about the transformation, right? So it's also similarly like that.
How about water consumption, ma'am? I doubt that they are consuming water on regular basis. I feel that like they are not taking 1 or 2 liters also of water every day. That's what I feel when I see that. Yeah.
Yeah,
What
right.
is the, yeah,
On water intake is very, very important. It's what they have to ideally do is have a liter of bottle, look at how many times they're refilling the water, because otherwise there's no count on it. That's the easiest count they can do. And in seasons like now, summers, it's important for them to drink at least 3 liters of water minimum. Otherwise, they face a lot of challenges. The UTI or urinary tract infection rate is also going up because of the same problem. Acidity will go up because of the same problem. Many times, acidity leading to headache. So you can see how much just the water intake is related to, how much it can lead to further also. So very important for us to educate students or people otherwise. I think it is a very relevant question also.
Thank you so
Ma'am,
much, ma'am. Really, thank you so much. Yeah, yeah. Please go
yeah.
ahead. Please go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, I have a question, ma'am. Does diet plays any role on the health care of the woman thing? Can you just elaborate on this?
Oh yeah, diet definitely plays a big role in health of women at different levels. If you're a teenager, what kind of health and habits you maintain. We just discussed about, off that age around early 20s. Then when you are in your reproductive health group, what kind of diet? So in brief, when we talk about diet and we say, ahara, I said it's the universal energy. So what we are made up of is food. If you don't supply the right thing to your body is also not going to behave the right way. That's why you have to supplement it with the right food. You also make the right choices of food, because lot of the hormonal imbalance is attached to food itself. Now people take hybridized vegetables. Now, are we going to get the right nutrition with hybridized vegetables? May not be. You are so happy seeing that yellow capsicum, red capsicum, that big brinjal. They look very nice. They look very shiny. But is that what they can do for you? May not be. So this kind of food habits have to change, because they can lead to this hormonal imbalance in female, and that is the biggest problem and the biggest challenge we see nowadays in youngsters, in young women.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. So I think we are also just due to closure. We can take one last question. Otherwise, I think we can close the session for today. And I thank everyone for joining in. Hope the session was useful. You can also drop in your feedback on the session so that we can work on to getting back with more information next time. Thank you. Thanks for joining in.
Thank
Thank
you,
you
ma'am.
so much
Thanks
for
a
the
lot.
session, ma'am. Really, thank you so
Thanks
much.
a lot
Yeah.
for the session, ma'am.
Thanks a
Thank
lot.
you, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you.